Hello, everybody. Welcome back after an extended break. We are we are all safely into the new year, as well as we can be, but we're here, and we're ready to play some Call of Cthulhu. So let's do a quick around the table. Let's start with top left on the overlay there, Dallas Rex. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself.
Do you mean me or the character me?
Uh, your character, and then we'll do outros.
Okay, because that wasn't clear. Yeah,
You
everybody.
are the character.
I
What?
am. Yeah, Dallas was the sheriff of a town. I don't know how that works when you leave to go fight monsters, but I feel like that's probably not his post anymore.
To be
But
fair, there's not much of a town left. I'm just
well, that's fair. Woke up one day expecting to go to a party, ended up fighting monsters, and this is not at all how we thought his life was going to go. But there's a pretty girl involved, so I think that that's enough for any adventurous man to kill monsters for. So
You still went to the party, like,
I did go to the party.
to be clear.
Yeah, I went to the party. Yeah, you're right. It just didn't. It ended in Moida. So
decapitation like all good parties do.
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
I've heard that.
What was his
And
name? Deadward.
stop it!
Oh, that's their dad,
That's my
man.
dad!
Down the screen to Miss Mabel Monroe. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hey, I'm Diana. Tonight I am Maybelle Monroe, who is the youngest of our investigators, and probably the loudest when the situation calls for it, like when her sister turned into a man and everyone was just like chill about it for a second. That was the thing that happened. Yeah.
And let's travel to the right to Miss Mags Monroe.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily. I play Molly Monroe, called Magnesium, or Mags for short. I am the generally strong, silent type, next to my sister Maybelle. But I'm uncovering a whole new side of myself that really just flourishes under the light of dynamite.
And last but not least, we will go up to Mr. Ulrich Wolf.
I'm Lord Fancy. I play Ulrich, and I was hunting a bounty, found the bounty. Morally feels that I cannot turn in said bounty, and am now working to find the truth of things.
And I am Justice, and I am your storyteller for this evening. I almost said keeper. I'm not a keeper. I'm a storyteller. I get all the games mixed up. But I wrote keeper on my thingy, so I'm going to change that. Wait, no, it is keeper for this story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've always been keeper.
Man. Confuse myself. Hey, so... Hi, chat. If you are joining us for the first time, this stellar cast has been through a bit of an adventure. And after the new year, we are going to do a little bit of introspection with our players. We're going to do some in-game type things, how they feel about each other, things that are going on, and then some things that would help from a RP perspective. All the people in this game are, I would say, experienced role players. They've done an amazing job as a cast. I, as the keeper, have really enjoyed watching them. Some of my favorite moments are when I can kind of just wind them up and then let them go, and I can sit back and eat popcorn. We have some trained actors on our cast as well. Like these folks know where it's at. So I'm going to start off with a series of questions, and we'll see where it goes. 15-20 minutes, unless it's really going well and everybody's enjoying it, and then we're going to get back into our story of Iron, Dust, and Blood and dinosaurs. We'll add that caveat for the next little while.
I have to make a new logo?
No, it's just a short thing. Unless maybe
Just
you want to
scribble it over.
yeah, just like
just write
put
it
a
on at the bottom.
Triceratops on the bottom and rar. So to start off, let's start with Mr. Ulrich Wolf, because Ulrich had not played with Diana, Emily, or Mace. Well, he played with Mason, but it was kind of a new cast. The three of them had a bit of a repertoire going. No, repartee. I don't know. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long year. Um, so stepping in as a first time with this group, as a role playing question, how do you adjust to a new group when you're coming in to make sure that everybody is comfortable and you get that? Because to me at least, and it might be different to the audience, but you all seem to have an instant chemistry, and it just sort of went really well from the get go. So how do you deal with those situations?
Well, I say it's a lot like making new friends, you know? So you got to kind of feel it out. You got to lowball your jokes. You got to make sure you're not making anything too spicy at first, right? It's like cooking for a guest that you don't know what they eat. But I'd say one of the most fortunate things is that we have the ability to talk beforehand and afterwards. And you get a sense for really who you all are, who we all are together. And, you learn each other. And those are the times when you're not on camera. That's when you can test the spicier things and see how people are with it. And then, kind of work it in. That's always how I do it. Because I'm just the kind of person that likes to, you know, push those things and try and get a laugh out of people. And then when it comes down to character and role playing, really I take what I get and I give more in return. And I just like to be able to play off of the little things that everybody brings to the table. You know.
I think those are two very important keys for role playing, is communication, and is there a better term for yes anding? Like take it in and give it back out. I like that. That's I feel that's where a lot of
Reciprocity.
reciprocity,
Oh.
reciprocity. Chicago fans,
I wanted to call it mama birding, which is like way worse. So,
but a very astute visual.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this worm, I'm gonna chew it up, and I'm gonna spit it back at you with a little bit of my bile.
it's the worm and more.
Yeah, and just a little bit of mother's love.
Yeah.
Anywho, Emily, would you kind of agree with those same sentiments as coming into a new group and picking up a new role for the first time and feeling all that out?
Yeah, I would say that the mama bird metaphor was not what they teach in acting school, but is pretty apt.
Should be.
In fact, I'm going to call up Tish and make sure they start focusing
Appreciate that.
that
Thank
into
you.
the repertoire. You'll get your royalties, I'm sure. I think that the most important part of establishing like a good chemistry in a group like this, especially if you're role playing with people that you haven't before. And in this case, I had to be quite honest, like Justice and Diana, we've played together, and I'd say like now we have played together extensively, but certainly at the start of this game, we hadn't played together terribly extensively despite being friends and knowing each other so well. I think that the DreamHack game we did was the first time we actually got to sit and play at a tabletop together, and we were all like, this is great. We should do this more. But like with never having played, well, with having very limited experience playing with Mason, and never having played with Xavier before, this is the kind of situation where you go into the group with trust as the top element. Like you're absolutely right when you mentioned that we get to talk beforehand, which is great. But like we don't have a lot of time to talk beforehand and get to know each other well beforehand. And I think especially in a situation like this where, Justice, you've put together a group of people and I trust you as a human and as a storyteller and as a friend, and I know you've brought in people that you share like-minded viewpoints with, and that you're bringing us all together into this group to trust one another. I kind of go into role-playing situations trying to build off of that trust. Like, I know that my character can do or say shitty things that like Emily would never say to her friends or to fellow humans, but that I know at the end of the day, like the people I'm playing with recognize the performance there or the role playing there, and that's not a judgment on any of our actual character, like our human characters. Um, especially like when you're role playing and performing at the same time, because to me they're like flexing two different muscles, like sitting at a table with my friends when no one's watching versus doing it on a stream or for a performance. That trust is especially inherent because you're in a streamed show or an actual play, like you are so much more focused on driving the story than on the personal experience of your character, in my experience. So we all have to trust each other to know that like the actions we choose are going to work together to push each other's characters along. Even if it doesn't always feel that way, like it all works itself out. And with that trust, we lean into really, really amazing moments along the way.
I think that's a really key element that's overlooked a lot of the times, because there's always that when you're playing a character, and even more so with strangers, there's always that trepidation of like, uh, please don't think bad of me. Should I say that? Because I wouldn't say that, but I know my character would. And more than that, the trust that you aren't making autonomous decisions for someone else, right? You don't force somebody into a situation where they're like, fuck, I guess that's what we're doing then. So communication, trust, and yes anding, baby birding, mama birding, baby birding, mama birding.
Mama bird.
I don't know. You know, we'll write the book up. Um, uh, I had another question and I let it leave my mind. So we're gonna jump to a question from chat real quick, and we're gonna go down to Mason. What enticed you into role playing in the first place? As a controller of your own stream and having that responsibility, what drew you towards that?
Towards roleplay in particular?
Yeah, role playing, and I'm gonna take a step further, because a lot of us enjoy playing games, but playing for an audience, like taking on a role and presenting that to an audience.
From that perspective, because honestly, I had to, as many of us do, had to jump in and be the DM first and then a player second. Part of it is I just had fun playing those games. I had fun watching, people doing this. Obviously, I would be lying if I didn't say like people like Critical Role or like Acquisitions Inc. and like a lot of those other big things didn't like make me. I was like, hey, that looks like fun. I want to do that. And then that other part of it that kind of fit into it for me is like it helped me feel happy at times when I wasn't always feeling super happy, and I was like, maybe if I can give any small part of that to somebody else while I'm doing it, if they can escape with me into fantasy nonsense and shenanigans, I feel like I'm doing something good. So I guess that's kind of where I decided to start with it is that I intended it first, like if I didn't have to stream it, I wouldn't, but it was just a kind of a convenient thing. It was always, I wanted it to be fun for my friends and for me, and that's always gonna come first. And then after that, the show and that's all fun extra stuff, and I hope that everybody enjoys it, but like that will always be secondary to just having fun and making friends smile.
And I think that ties back into the previous, where we've got trust, we've got communication, where yes anding back and forth, but we also have this underlying goal of making sure that everybody's enjoying themselves and having fun, and that the moment you forget that is when things start to fall apart.
And a minor thing I'll add to that, and this is something that I've kind of been thinking about, is like we all have a responsibility to each other to make the game fun. Like it's not that any one of us is like, oh, I'm out for my story. It's like, yes, you all have your character motivations and things, but every one of us is trying our best to make sure that it's fun for the other people, even if sometimes it's aggravating. Like I know that there's been multiple times where I've screwed Diana over in some of our World of Darkness games, things like that. But it's still, I think, fun for everybody. It doesn't mean don't be silly and don't, I don't know. There's that fine line you walk between here's what my character would do and, you know, being cognizant of the fact that you're all having fun together.
Right.
So
Just yeah, your character can't be an asshole 100% of the time, or nobody's gonna have fun because nobody likes to hang out with an asshole in fantasy world or not.
You played in Wraith though, so like
Yeah.
you know that's not true.
Well, that's a little bit different, just a little bit.
when everyone's an asshole, no one will be.
Exactly.
Wait, in the never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna try to make a variation on the in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, but I didn't know how to make that out of assholes, and so I'm not even. Diana, what? So we've been, based on the chat stream here, 8 months. We've been doing Bard and Barbarian for 8 months, and before that, you had played D&D, but you had not really streamed, right? So what kind of drew you into this direction? Similar lines of Mason there, or completely opposite direction?
Into streaming specifically?
Streaming and well, role playing, and then into streaming.
So I'm gonna overshare just a little bit. So I started playing D&D because my best friend of like 1,000 years played it all through high school. And I gave her, I love Emily so much. I gave her a really hard time about it because she's my best friend and I totally could. And then in my 20s, I was going through a really, really dark time. I'd just been fired, the one and only time I've ever been fired from a job, and I was sort of like stuck, and I didn't really know what to do. And she was like, "Just come up to Bloomington and just play some D&D." I was like, "Okay, fine." And so I went up for one session, and I made a tiefling bard, and I completely fell in love with it. And then I just wanted to play all the games, to the point where I was over at Nick and Desi's house way too often. Like, they had just gotten married. They should have kicked me out 1,000 times, but they didn't. And then I started streaming because of Level Up Dice and because of my role there and wanting to have an online presence and interact with our audience more. And parting ways with them, I was able to start doing it for myself, for us. So, yeah, that's how I got here. I still stress out about it every single time I hit the go live button. Like, it still gives me terrible anxiety, and I'm horrified I'm going to let all of you down and that somehow I'll cause the collapse of D&D and Twitch and our friendships all at once, like in one fell swoop. But hasn't happened yet. I don't have anything wood to knock on. But, yeah. I don't know that RP held like any particular appeal because I didn't know I was doing it. I still don't know what I'm doing it. I just do it. I just play the game.
If I could just for a moment, I feel like at a certain point, the Streamlabs bot has to be updated from the let's hang out while Diana and Justice figure out how to make content. Because I think you've figured it out.
Still have no fucking idea, Emily.
Fumbling our way through it. I think that's probably the most important thing that everybody should keep in mind every single time that they play any game is, oh God, if I do this wrong, I'm going to collapse society. I mean, I just think fear is a great motivator, and fear of collapsing society should keep you on the right track. No. Oh, sorry, that was no, that was incorrect. I'm getting
that
cues
you're
from
not
the
mama
cast
birding
that
right now. Like, this is
I'm doing it
terrible.
wrong. I'm doing it wrong. So actually, I do want to point out that I sprung this on them as well. So the fact that they're answering all these candidly and they're having great discourse here, I told them 5 minutes before that we were starting that we were going to do this. So having
That's not
an
what my
amazing
script says. Hold on.
the
You got a
teleprompter,
script? What the
Mason, the
fuck?
teleprompter.
Right.
Having an amazing cast like this makes it so much easier on me as the keeper, because I know that my notes, okay, for all of this season, I have, except for the copy paste stuff that I took out of the book, so I had prompts, I have 4 pages of notes. That's it for this entire campaign, because they're like little bullets of like, get them to the train.
Okay. So, Justice, I have a question for you.
Oh.
Was the dinosaurs just kind of like a fuck it, we'll give them dinosaurs? Was it a throw up your hands moment, or was it like, oh,
No,
they're getting dinosaurs?
I was having a block one day actually, and I was looking through the book, and they have a section on Valley of Lost, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do that because it'd be a fun way to kill a session or two. And then it took them 3 sessions to get there, so it didn't matter anyway. I had enough material to get them through a couple days before we actually made it to the Land of the Lost, which works out because now I've been able to flesh out that area a little bit better and not just have a little like, let's go do this real quick, and buy myself time. I'm gonna cycle back over to storytelling, buying yourself time to the next session. Cycle back over to Mr. Wolf there. Let's go into a character question. Is Ulrich Wolf now? Okay, for background, I guess the characters have been together for probably about a month now, with the stops and the. Actually, no, it's been maybe a week. Yeah, maybe a week, with a couple of weeks at the Logan Boone camp doing our montage last time.
But it was a 2020 week, which lasts like 3 months.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Is Ulrich where you initially started him? Like when you wrote up this character as the bounty hunter, for you, the player, did he alter, and you just adjusted him where you wanted him to be? And then has he grown as a character from first session to where he is now?
So to answer the second question first, yes, inherently so. So therefore, the first question is also a yes. Initially, thinking of the character was like, okay, I want a character that is experienced with handling people and also with traveling. So he's seen a lot of things. And I also didn't want to go with the whole gunslinger type character. That wasn't at all in my intention. I wanted him to be a silver tongue, right? And as the campaign kind of went on and we got into different situations, I was like, man, fucking gun would solve this problem real quick. So I've kept kind of the coercion bit, but I think thankfully it's easily explained by the scenarios and kind of the trauma that the character's been put through based on the what he's seen and what he's been through. That shootout in the town really was the episode before that, when it was the solo one-on-one and we looked back at the character. It forced me to think about who this character is and what has made him who he is, and then following that up with the shootout, he's definitely different than he started out, and I think for the better. I think he's more capable of handling what is going to come towards him, and absolutely more confident in dealing with these struggles with these characters. So I love where he's come to. I feel better and more comfortable in the character.
That's in without getting too real, it mimics real life to an extent, especially with this system where with the insanity thing. You had a bad insanity roll, but your character was able to bounce back from that, and you haven't gone permanently insane yet. But the system, Call of Cthulhu, lends itself to that growing. If you allow your character to grow it, because just like in real life, if you are experiencing trauma, you're going to come out of it one way or another, right? Like you might internalize that and come out stronger and not run into those situations again, or you might snap and ride your horse into the desert, who knows. Mason, your character definitely had a different starting appeal, and do you like where he's gone? We haven't had an opportunity to really explore his fast talk like you had originally pitched.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because I do have a lot of points in that.
Yeah. I'm we'll get back around to that eventually. I promise.
But I can tell you he's grown a lot, especially since we're in a Valley of Dinosaurs. He now really wants one. Is probably the biggest single character growth. He wants to walk out of this valley rather riding a dinosaur. But no, for real, I think he was at a plate, like, my idea was when he started this, it's like he kind of sort of weaseled his way into like, oh, picked up the badge, like put it on and dusted off sort of thing. He kind of finally settled into a place where he was comfortable, and it was finally interesting when, you know, we had a bounty hunter come to town, and it was a small town where nothing crazy was ever really happening. So I think part of the allure for him was just not being bored anymore. And at the same time, there is that Weasley side of him, like that was like when the first monster showed up at the beginning, he's like, fuck, I don't really want any part of this because I've got it really good sitting here in town, right? So he's gone from that like sort of comfortable, not quite shut in, but you know, like just kind of floating along, to seeing someone that he now, or really a couple people that he now cares about, needing him to do more. And so he's kind of stepped up at least a little bit in that way, mainly with guns. So I went the opposite of Xavier, and he is absolutely a gunslinger.
They've solved a lot of issues with guns so far. I mean,
I will continue to do so as long as I can.
But also fists and boobs. Like, we've used a lot of
That's-
different tools in our arsenal.
It's really the quintessential Western that we're playing right
The
now.
trifecta.
Yeah.
Tits, guns, dynamite?
dynamite.
Dynamite?
God bless the old West.
That's the next T-shirt design, right?
God bless the
Tits,
old
guns,
West.
and dynamite?
Tits, guns, dynamite.
Yeah.
God bless the old West.
I'll get on
And,
it.
back.
and on the back, God's bless the old West.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Gods with the plural.
Elder gods.
Elder gods. You distracted me. I forgot. I was gonna ask a follow-up question. Oh, so I was not sure as the keeper how you were going to step up if you were as the sheriff, and you really did step into that role of like, all right, I guess there was a murder. We've got to investigate this, and that was kind of the impetuous. Because if you had just been like, deuces, y'all, I'm gonna roll over to the next town, and part of that is obviously we're playing a game, but also there were ways that your character could have shirked the responsibility, but he chose not to. Was there a moment there where you were kind of like, maybe I do, maybe I don't?
Yeah, because definitely part of, I mean, there's two parts to this. There is the part of him that there is like that heart of gold underneath there, but there's also that part of him, it's like everybody sees me standing here looking at this murder and expects me to do something. So it's like, I guess now I'm being put to the test, or, you know, or else like somebody will be taking this job. So there was definitely a little bit of self-centeredness still to it, but there was also that mixture of intrigue and kind of like, man, nobody else is really qualified except for maybe Ulrich is like to like maybe look into murder, and like it was definitely not something that Rex really, it's like, yeah, he's read some books and stuff, but like he doesn't know how to decipher the giant monster tore a head off a dude. So it was I think it was more the allure of mystery and the fact that everyone did expect him to do something, whereas the entire time sitting as sheriff, they really didn't expect anything of him, you know. So I wouldn't say he was ever going to run away, but he definitely would have been okay, a little more okay sweeping this under the rug if there weren't more going on there.
The literal entire town hadn't been there.
Yeah, he was. It was one of. Yeah, he couldn't really just like walk away from it, even if he was determined to do so.
And we'll cycle back. I'm going to say it out loud so that I don't forget. But Sheriff Rex was also the first one to really encounter anything of supernatural and have a break from it. Because he failed his first sanity roll. But before that, we had our Monroe sisters, whose life was literally turned upside down on a night where they thought everything was same old, same old. In fact, if I recall, they were trying to get away from the dance because they didn't enjoy it.
It's not our jam. Not really our thing.
Yeah, not our favorite thing. If only we knew
Yeah.
that we have things we hate more.
Life could have been so much simpler had your father not been murdered. So, a backstory on the sisters: their mother had died, and they had been moved to the Old West, but they were East Coast socialites, kind of, before they got out there. And so, Mags, um, how did you where did your character concept start? And did you start with this? Did you because silent stoicism is not generally your style, right? As a person, but was that how you wanted Mags to go, or has she kind of fallen into that role?
No, that is definitely that was a choice I made because with every character I do for one of these shows, I try really hard to do something that I haven't done before, or at the very least get away from the archetypes I've most recently played. Um, and I mean, like, full disclosure, I had just finished playing Last of Us 2, and I was like, I'm gonna make an Abby. Like, I want her to be brolic and huge and badass. And funny story, I built her to, like, the character concept was so much about who she was on the ranch. You know, because every D&D campaign or other tabletop RPG campaign, you usually stay put and don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that like that's kind of where I was going with like her blacksmithing and it's also like I kind of pictured like well maybe in if you know things get hairy I can supply the weapons and like I you know Mags hates guns, but nobody else does, so that's not really happening either. So it's definitely the kind of thing where I feel the challenge of the concept I started out with uh is not where the game took me, which gave me so much room to grow in terms of what Mags is all about, for sure. And I think this was also an exercise for me, like in another reason why I wanted to kind of go the strong, more stoic type is to try to foil Diana as much as possible and like, you know, give us a chance to play off of each other as sisters and that's real fun for me. So,
And Mama bird each other, if you will.
Yeah.
yes, I love to spit reciprocally into Diana's mouth.
Mm, mm, mm.
And
That's
also
why she's the
improv.
special friend.
Yeah.
Yes, Mason. Yeah.
All makes sense.
Mm, mm, mm. Excuse me. Um, I went for a run yesterday and my lungs haven't recovered yet. I went a whole block.
Fitness.
Yeah. Mm. COVID. Um, Quarantine.
No,
That's more.
stop.
Anyway. So Mabel, I always forget your name. I'm sorry. The M's.
It's okay. I'm just
mess
your
me up.
fiance. It doesn't matter.
I don't forget your name.
It's literally
Um,
on the screen.
Mabel. Um, so you were the youngest of this group and very much not set in the Old West, right? You'd be much more at home in a library on the East Coast where you can catch a train from uptown to downtown. And while you weren't a socialite, you would have still appreciated the modern comforts. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
the whole thing about Maybell is she's this. She's not this.
and we've seen that to an extent, but you've also been quick to defend your friends in any way that you can. So how has Maybell grown? Because she was very disdainful of the sheriff and the bounty hunter at first, but um, now you've come together as a group. So as a character, how has she evolved?
So it's worth saying that when I made Maybell, I made a girl living on a ranch. Like I didn't make an investigator. I didn't make anyone who I expected to live through Call of Cthulhu. Let's put it that way. Because that's what she is. She's a young dumb kid. She's headstrong, but I think in obviously, sorry guys if you can hear Hodor snoring beside me. Obviously, like her father dying changed sort of everything, but moreover, in going through the steps and uncovering this secret society and learning about these seemingly magical capabilities and seeing things that she can't explain, she's sort of realized that, you know, impressions are not always accurate, right? So she's learned that Ulrich might be super opinionated and have his code, and those are the things he wants to do, and he doesn't think that anyone should interfere with those things. But that's just who he is, and ultimately he just wants to be the good guy, whether he'll admit it or not. And the same goes for Dallas. Like, he was just like, ugh, a murder. Now I have to do a thing. But, like, he's kind of embraced that role. And, like, not to be weird, but Maybell thinks he's hot. And he's stepped in and stepped up and taken care of her. So she's sort of learned that changing your opinion is not necessarily a bad thing. And sometimes it's good to be wrong about someone.
Maybell admitting she's wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like that's...
Well, this is Diana
It's
admitting
Diana,
that
yeah.
Maybell is
Oh,
wrong.
okay, all right. Layers. There's layers.
Yeah. She'd never admit it.
So this is my first time running Call of Cthulhu. I still haven't read the Keeper Manual. I like little by little, but I read up on ways to maintain fear, and we've gotten away from that a little bit because just the nature of the way that you all interact, there's a certain bit of levity, but we've had some harrowing experiences, and that's one of the fun things with this system is that sanity breaking moment where you literally lose control of your character. Sheriff Rex in his first he went catatonic and had to be pulled out, and Ulrich rode his horse until it died underneath him and had to walk back to town.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Mags and
didn't even know
Maybell both
that.
got trapped inside their own minds for a period of time. Luckily, they both succeeded on their sanity checks when they came out of it. But how have you all enjoyed those types of scenarios where you actually lose control of your character for a little while? Because that's a fairly unique concept to Call of Cthulhu, and I think it's worth exploring.
I hated it, but like in a good way. So I cried when you trapped me in my brain and took away everyone I cared about. I have like 3 emotions and 2 of them are hungry, so yeah, I'm enjoying the type of fear that you're instilling, right? Because in D&D, it's, oh my god, there's an ancient red dragon in front of you. This is more subtle and more personal, intimate fear.
Cerebral.
Yeah.
And to really succeed in those levels is to build it from a certain level. You can't just smack people in the face with it. You have to... One of my personal favorite scenes that I was able to craft was when you first found the passage and you were walking through that, and nothing happened. Nothing came out of that passage, but I enjoyed the way that I was able to craft that and feed off of your all's responses, because I could watch your faces and you were waiting for something to jump out at you. And just building that little by little, where it's like that tickle at the back of your neck, but it's not overtly in your face.
You did some spooky shit.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy about this game. But
I'm still positive whatever was in that passage is going to jump out of us at us. We just haven't seen it yet.
It might. It's been following us this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whole time.
it's E.T. He's looking for his Reese's Pieces. He's like, but wait, come back. I'm slow. What how do you all separate those moments where you can put that in-game terror in and then step away and not have emotional damage? Not that I think I'm a gifted enough storyteller to actually instill emotional damage, but finding those moments where you can be present in the moment, but then step away from it and still enjoy the story in your real life.
I don't this is not a judgment on people who feel things so deeply as to have that happen by any means, but I've personally never had that issue where like a thing that happens to my character in a tabletop game affects me so deeply that I can't shake it off afterward. It's to me it's like a complete it's like how, you know, ice cream is like a different stomach. Like you can be really really full, but then like you could still eat a gallon of ice cream.
Yes. Your
That's
terror
universal
stomach.
knowledge. Yes. Yeah, it's like the trauma I can experience in this game or any other traumatizing game. I leave the game and that stomach is scared, but everything else is good. That's the total healthy way to describe it.
You were starting to say something, Ulrich?
I was going to say something very similar.
About a stomach for fear?
Yeah.
No, about
common,
about not really recognizing that as I recognize it as being a thing, but having not experienced it myself. Slight background: I was Sweeney Todd in a reproduction, and the director was very heavy on, you know, there are awful things that happen in this musical to these characters. You say awful things, you do awful things, but that's not you. Blah 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 blah. Right? And I get it, and I understood its place when she was saying it, but for me, it's always, you know, I do put myself in that scenario so that I can, you know, react accordingly and put on my face for it. But it is at the end of the day acting. And I know that I've met a few people that do have a difficulty differentiating those moments. But yeah, I don't have the sage wisdom for them. Just that I enjoy reacting to them when you bring them up.
And that's something that you all as a cast do fantastically. You give the facial expressions, you really bring the immersion to the table. Mason, as a keeper yourself, how do you present fear and those more subtle moments to your players? And less the here's a monster eating your face.
Yeah, generally speaking, I take my pacing from a lot of my favorite things, whether it be movies or shows or whatever. Like if you look, I still think, regardless of how you view the rest of Stranger Things, the first episode did a very, very good job of just being like, here's a little thing, that's a little unsettling. Did you really see that or did you not? And I think that's the thing that really for me helps build fear and put it in a way that starts to feel like, yes, I recognize that when you are playing a game, it's like, oh, I'm not actually afraid of being jumped in my room, though some people probably are. It's more of that, like when you're watching a horror movie or playing a horror game, it's like you're willing to give yourself over to that experience, and I have to accept that the players are willing to do that as well. And so when you put these little subtle things in there, my whole purpose for doing it is some of them may be really something you should be afraid of, but you didn't know it yet. Or things that it's like, that was really weird and unsettling, but it may have no consequence. But the whole point is for me, it's like you never know where it's going to come from. And when you finally do, I want everything to click. You know, it'd be like, oh fuck, like if I had just done this, or if I'd seen this or noticed this, because I want it to be that feeling of, I could have done something earlier, but I've crossed that like that hubris threshold. Like I've accidentally stepped too far, And obviously, when we're playing Call of Cthulhu, we want that, like, we're investigators. We want to push the boundaries of that. And I think what I want is for, at least for me, to make it scarier for the players. I don't want it to be a moment when they are trying to push it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's something obviously ridiculous. Like there's one time in my game, Diana was like, I'm gonna go check this thing out, and I was like, okay. But that's one of my favorite. That's my favorite moments, is when they cross the line but don't realize it until it's too late.
I realized it because you made that same face. You were like the.
That time I did, for sure. So I don't know. I like the really subtle stuff that doesn't come to like that crescendo until much later.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have gore and horror and things and build up and all that kind of stuff, but it's the really subtle psychological second guessing yourself stuff, I think, before the hammer drops, and everything goes real bad.
And that
build up.
the fun thing about that is, if you do it to them once, they're going to expect it every time. So you don't have to do it again. You don't have to do it for 10 more sessions. When, oh yeah, you guys remember that car that you didn't drive that you should have?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
ghost car.
It's behind you now, and it's running over you. What was that movie where the tire was attacking people?
I was remembering the Futurama episode where
Ghost Car is probably an actual movie. I know there are movies about killer cars, so
yeah.
One last question around the table, and then we're gonna get into a little bit of gameplay here. What we'll start with Ulrich. What has been your favorite moment so far in the game?
To be a little selfish, it was definitely the shootout, because it was the change of my character, but also I've never really done mass combat in Call of Cthulhu, and I haven't dealt with, guns or anything like that. And I was really excited to do that scenario and do it with you. But it also involved a lot of critical thinking and problem solving, so I didn't fucking die.
That's the great thing about the Call of Cthulhu system. You will die. You have like 4 hit points. You'll die. There was very real possibility of you dying in that scenario. There was 1 or 2 spots where, if rolls had gone the other way, you would have just been gunned down in the town, and the rest of the cast, they would have been like, huh, I wonder whatever happened to that bounty hunter.
Yeah.
He never came back.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite times too with your character, because the one-on-one situation is so much more different. So much different. It's different.
Much more different.
Much more different, yeah. And it's a challenging in a whole different way, because you don't get as much of that give and get that you get when you have a full cast that can keep the story moving along. So that was a lot of fun. Mason.
Oh, favorite moment?
Yeah.
My favorite moment was also my least favorite moment, I think, in hindsight, because I didn't like. I mean, Mason as a player, I don't like character control being taken away from me, but I also accept that it's a part of this particular system, and that it pushes me to make changes and character decisions that I wouldn't have otherwise. And in this instance, I was like, okay, he literally lost control of his body and like fainted, like for like hours. That to me signaled that there had to be so significant of a change in him. He was, after seeing spooky monster thing, he was at the crossroads of either he was absolutely leaving, or he had to figure out what this was and kill it, because he was not okay with it being out there and him not being in control of that whole situation. So that was the moment where it really changed for him, where he was like, I can't ignore the fact that I saw something, and I know I saw something, and I have to kill it. I have to get to the bottom of this, because I can't sleep until I do.
And we saw that exact thing in the 2 or 3 episodes after that, where he was on high alert. I think that he stayed up all night that first night and stayed watch. So it was a great example of leaning into a character's experience and allowing that to change. Um, Emily.
I would have to say my favorite moment is likely the like power high that Mags felt walking out and setting fire to the ranch, feeling like there was you know, the only way out was through to just like burn it all, walk away from it, and this life is over. Um, Basically, the entire story of what was going on from that moment, or like what led up to that moment, what was going on from that moment, right up until the meta reveal of the poor ranch hand's demise, um, which Mag still doesn't know about, but obviously
Yeah.
Emily does. And that was just such a wicked twist of storytelling where, like, my character thinks she did something super badass and kind at the same time, and she definitely did not. And that was the payoff of that. I mean, we haven't really seen the full payoff, right? But like the payoff of that moment, uh, because like I got to enjoy that as an audience member while hating it as a cast member, um, and that was phenomenal.
Just a moment of silence for Lewis. Just
Poor Lewis.
poor Lewis. He just wanted to dance. Um, Miss Diana.
You guys all had very like uh reflective favorite moments. My personal favorite moment, just because of its absurdity for what this situation was when Mags and I were trying to ride the horse. Um, two young women raised on a farm who can't ride horses. Neither
We
one of us
sucked.
took points. Yeah, neither one of us took points in ride. And then just the whole not accepting Sheriff Rex's help in that situation. I think he was like, "Do you guys need like a leg up or something?" And instead of just taking the help, Mags being like, "I'm gonna tie a rope to his horse and make them
Yeah.
lead us to town."
The fact that your rope skill was higher than your horse skill is just
It's on brand for this group, though. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
oh,
What about you?
I have enjoyed every moment where you all have those, and I can't think of a particular one right now, but I feel almost a palpable shift in the mood. It's almost like it gets a couple degrees cooler, and everybody talks a little bit slower and a little bit more serious. And there's been several times where you just have a four-person conversation that doesn't even involve me, and you're talking about feelings and emotions and planning. And I feel like the as an audience member myself in those situations, I absolutely love those moments because it feels like watching a movie and there's a script and you all are just playing it out brilliantly. Uh, I've loved watching the characters change and grow because you all are amazing role players, and there's been some funny moments, and there's been some sad moments, and there's been some spooky moments, and I consider myself only about 25% responsible for that, and the rest is on you guys. So um, I really appreciate it. Um, and with that, let's take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be right back. And we're gonna jump into the story, and we're gonna get an hour of gameplay out of the way. Does that sound good? Thanks for sticking with us, chat. I hope that you have enjoyed this little pause for introspection. I personally have really, and I can't wait to get somebody eaten by a dinosaur.
No. Okay, guys, we'll be back in 5.
See you in 5.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
Were you really?
No word of a lie. I was literally thinking about what we said earlier, and I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, but
Proud
I have
of you.
alcohol in me, so my inhibitions are gone.
Hey, we're
And
live.
we're
guys.
I know.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out while we grabbed some water, and we're going to get back into this. So when we left our characters, they had spent a couple days at the hideout of the Logan Boone gang. Some had learned a few things. A few devices had been found. Some weird stuff that they'd never seen before, and everybody gained a little bit more than they were before. The Boone gang they parted ways. They headed on towards Cheyenne, and they were looking for an inn that was alluded to in a note that they found on the train. Turned out the train was a sham, and the real artifact that they had been hunting was being passed along what was referred to as the Northern Line, a series of rivers and streams that connected Omaha in the east all the way across to to Colorado and further on to the west coast. So the Logan Boone gang separated and headed west towards the Rattlesnake's Coil, which was an inn in the seedier part of a seedy town, Cheyenne. Whereas our brave group of adventurers, our industrious investigators, had headed north to find the Trapper's Trail known as the Northern Line. They followed this river for several days, and in the distance, they all heard a rushing sound, and they continued to approach and looked out, and in one moment, they were standing on the barren plains of eastern Wyoming, and in the next instant, the temperature started to rise and humidity, and it felt like they were breathing through a cloth, and the sound of unfamiliar birds raucously cawing all around them. And when they blinked from one step to the next, they were suddenly found themselves in a lush forest, and they were overlooking a precipice, and off to their right there was a rushing waterfall falling hundreds of feet to crash into the river below, where it continued its path through what moments ago was a vast plain spread out before them, and now it was a large valley meandering due west with unfamiliar vegetation, animal sounds. And as they looked over the cascading waterfall, a massive beast came out of the undergrowth and bellowed defiantly to the sky. And that is where we pick back up with our adventurers.
Can you describe this beast one more time? Because I'm not sure if I
Yes.
should. Okay.
Yes,
I'm not sure if I should jump on it or not, is what he's thinking right now.
It is reptilian in nature. It has a massive head. It stands about 12 or 13 feet tall from foot to head. Small arms, straight tail sticking straight out the back. It looks like a lizard that Ulrich you had seen in the southwest, except massively larger and standing on two legs.
Could I roll archaeology to see if I recognize that it's a dinosaur? I mean, I assume
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So the really cool thing about this time period, which we are in 1869, is when a lot of, especially in Utah and where the great interior lake was, bones had been popping up. They had been actually digging, and this was some of the first archaeology. So yeah, what'd you get there, Sheriff?
Extreme success.
Extreme success. So as you look out across this valley, you're confused for a minute because you had just recently seen a paper that came through about a historic find in southern Utah that was revealing these massive dinosaur bones, and they had been labeled as Tyrannosaurus rex, with its very distinctive large head, huge teeth, and tiny little arms.
Did we accidentally take some more of that stuff that the medicine man gave us? Cause
You mean you're seeing that too?
are you?
Oh yeah. I just thought maybe given everything that's happened that it was probably just me seeing things.
Well, I'm hoping it's just a coincidence that we've stumbled upon giant reptilian creatures after fighting reptilian men. But either way, maybe we should. I'm gonna kind of take a glance to the side. Is there a way around this valley, or are we like? Is it like this is the way?
I mean, it expands on either side of you, left or right, but your vision is blocked by massive trees that were not there a moment ago.
I-
Oh shit.
It's a deep jungle. So absolutely, you do not have to go down into the valley, but rivers are a fast way of travel.
I'm gonna look behind me as we came from.
Same. A jungle stretches out behind you in the opposite direction.
Which isn't where we just we poofed here essentially. We stepped into.
Yeah, between one step and the next, you were on a plain, just rolling sagebrush, and now you're in a lush jungle. It's hot. You all feel sweat start to trickle down your back as the temperature has gone up quite a bit, and it's humid. It's like the air is heavier.
Are we still in the tent, or we?
I don't think so. We aren't all. Did you just see that?
I did.
That big lizard?
Yeah.
Mass.
I don't think we have guns big enough to deal with that, if I'm being completely honest.
Who says we're dealing with that?
Have you looked behind where we just came from? Yeah. I think we have to deal with it. I'm gonna like sit down for a second. I'm gonna try and focus using what was it Hitoke?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna see if I can focus and just reaching out, because I've learned a little bit of the supernatural. Just if there's anything crazy going on, I don't know if I have the ability to Cthulhu Mythos like feel where we should go, but he's gonna try it because this feels supernatural to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
20%.
I feel like letting Cthulhu guide you.
Cthulhu guide me.
Just
You rolled a 1?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I was shushing Diana, talking bad about our Lord and Savior Cthulhu. I failed, but I would like to push my roll, and I fully accept that there could be terrible consequences for pushing my roll in Cthulhu Mythos.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a bad idea, but yeah, do it.
Sounds really terrible and totally not worth it, but that's where
So-
we're
You're
in
putting us
times-
all at risk here.
Yeah, how are you pushing this roll?
I like to imagine as I'm looking inside, like I see this little hint of something that I can't quite grasp a hold of, and I know that maybe I shouldn't, but I'm gonna try and grab it anyways, just like reaching further in than Hitoke told me I should go with all the mental nonsense. So get ready to say goodbye to my character in about 5 minutes.
His
of
brain
tonight.
melts. And he runs off the ledge.
I still failed. It was just shit.
Yeah, give me sanity roll.
Fuck.
So as you all Sheriff Rex is like, okay, I got this, guys. I learned all about how to be he's laughing. I learned
Feel that
the
too.
ways of the medicine man, and I know my mind, and I'm gonna dig deep and see if I can figure out where we are. What'd you roll there?
Oh, it was a failure.
Hmm.
Let me double check, make sure my sanity did. Yeah, no, definitely a failure.
Failure. Okay. Roll me an intelligence check.
All right.
so many chances.
Wow, I cannot roll for shit tonight. Thankfully, that was a success. But
Oh well, no. Remember,
oh
you
no,
don't want
yes,
to succeed
I mean,
on
I
your
failed.
intelligence.
I failed actually. It's crazy how that. Wait, I didn't touch it. I swear I did fail by 1 point.
Okay.
I blame the alcohol. I read that as 67. That was a 76.
So you failed your sanity check, but
did.
you weren't smart enough to realize that you should be scared of it. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up the rules on that real quick because I don't remember. Is
Yeah, I
that where we
forget
roll the
every time.
D10?
That was a
know what?
D6.
Well, that's to lose sanity points.
Um,
Yeah, roll a D6.
Okay. Fuck me, dude. 6.
Mason!
It's your dice. You gave me these. Why did I roll dice you gave me?
Yeah, you should really
That
know
was-
better than that.
That was your first mistake.
Right?
So lose 6 sanity points, which means you lost more than 3 in a single go. Unless I'm doing that wrong. Tell me if I'm doing that wrong, because I'm trying to pull it up. Because you failed your
I have a-
intelligence.
I have a
There it is.
Cthulhu quick start sheet that I always consult, but I didn't have it open. 1 second, let me see. Or a quick reference.
Is he visibly in distress going through this process?
Yeah, he sat down, sort of cross-legged, and took a deep breath and sort of tried to woo-saw into himself. And then his face just started contorting into this painful rictus.
Can I kind of go over? He sat down, so I'll get on my knees and just kind of put my hands on his face, just to sort of center him while he's losing his GD mind.
Oh, this is the way it works. So you fail your roll, then you roll for how much sanity you lose. If you lose more than 5 in one roll, then you make your intelligence roll. And if you fail, then, which I did, you suppress the memory. Otherwise, I would be temporarily insane for D10 hours.
Beautiful. So
Convenient.
you suppressed the memory. You were just like, this is crazy ass shit, and my mind is melting. But you know what? That's all right. That's something to deal with another day. So you don't get any sort of clues from that, but you narrowly avoided losing your mind.
Sure did.
Dallas, you are white as a sheet.
Yeah, I don't think I know why. I had something. Maybe I should try again.
And I think maybe just sit and drink some water and rest for a minute. Does anyone know what we're looking at right now?
Well, I recently read in some of the papers that these things called dinosaurs used to walk the earth. You know, we've been digging up the bones apparently in some of these excavations, but well, they're not supposed to be alive anymore. So I guess it's just our lucky day.
Ulrich, how are you responding to this?
Honestly, I'm a bit bewildered. Taking a look around, seeing that we've suddenly appeared in this location. I'm just trying to calm myself. Understanding that, actually, rather believing that somebody has put us here because they're aware of what we've done. So I'm listening to my companions, and you know, I honestly, with what we've seen, I'm not sure whether or not to believe we've been transported back in time to when these creatures did exist, or if we should be concerned that we're in another place on this wonderful planet.
You think
But
we go back in time? Is that
Yeah,
a
that's
thing?
impossible.
I don't think anything's impossible based on what we've seen. Regardless, it's not like we can just pack up and turn around. We've become trapped in this jungle. Not such a environment I find quite friendly.
Well, now hold on. We've only just gotten here. We haven't met everyone yet. So,
Are the directions the same? Is that still north?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no stars are visible currently. Anybody got a compass on them?
You're the adventurer. Shouldn't you have one?
Are any of us good at tracking?
I think I do. Hold on. Specifically because I'm a bounty hunter. Yes, I do have tracking.
Because I don't.
Let's see here. Everybody give me a general intelligence roll. Just I'm gonna put a few thoughts in your heads if you succeed correctly.
Joke's on you.
Extreme success.
No thoughts.
It's either all failures or extreme successes for me tonight.
Yep, hard success.
can you tell us again, oh blessed keeper, what it is we're rolling?
Just intelligence.
Great, because I totally had the dice here and like ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
She had to go
You just
check
rolled
on
them
something.
across the floor and you had to go get them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And great. That's success.
Okay.
Failure.
Failure. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, on a success with your knowledge of blacksmithing and just kind of a general craftiness, you know that there's many ways you can fashion a compass with some iron filings and some water, and you could come up with something, especially if you talk to your sister. However, she doesn't know anything. She's staring around her and she's like, maybe these dinosaurs have just lived here. Nobody found this valley.
Ulrich, you don't have a compass?
What's that?
I said, Ulrich, you don't have a compass? Don't you track people for a living?
You know, tracking people's real easy when you're not in the midst of the jungle. Do I have a compass? Would I have a compass?
Give me
It
a
does
luck
feel
roll.
a little silly.
Give me a luck roll.
You know, when I was perusing through the old Western market, I didn't see compass, so I didn't have one.
Mason, with your extreme success on an intelligence roll, you know this is not right. There's no way that these creatures have survived in this valley for this long with this sudden change. So you know for a fact that something is weird. You don't know what that is, but that these should all be dead.
Regular success.
Regular success. Yeah, you got a compass in your pocket.
Well, I don't know what's going on here, but maybe we just tread carefully, because I get the sense as I look back behind us, I get the sense we only got forward to go.
What direction were we heading?
West.
Now, when I look at my compass, I'm going to leave this up to you. Have we really oriented a lot since this suddenly happened? Or are we basically facing the same direction?
Basically, like, you were walking, and between one step and the next, everything was just like...
Okay. What direction are we facing right now?
You are facing where you were going. You were facing west. The river is still stretching out ahead of you.
Okay. So the compass is still reading west.
No, your compass is spinning around in circles.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Classic.
Well, this is useless. Showing them all the, journey to the center of the Earth compass I got here. Fortunately, it seems the river still spans ahead of us, being the main landmark we got. I agree with Rex.
You think it'll keep taking us the right way?
I think the longer we stand here, the more chance we have of becoming dinner.
Sheriff Rex, you said you read about these bone monsters. Do you know, are they predatory?
They look friendly.
Well, Mags, you see that's because we're way up here and they look really small. But I think when they're towering over us, we might feel a little bit different. I don't know rightly whether they're carnivores or not, but judging by the large size and teeth, maybe we just best keep to ourselves.
Everybody, give me a spot hidden.
Oh boy.
We're all gonna get
Are we getting
eaten in
clever? Are
5
we getting clever
minutes.
girled right now? No, I failed.
Regular success.
Ooh, just barely success.
Fail, I'm dumb tonight.
I got mine by 2. What'd you get yours by?
1.
Ooh.
Man, you are doing fantastic.
Shut
So
up,
with the regular
Justice.
success, you do notice that there's a path ahead of you that leads down sort of beside the waterfall and wends its way down into the valley. You lose it pretty quick. It cuts in and then cuts left, and then you lose it in the trees.
If we follow looking at that, are there any signs? Like, does it look like a path that is foot worn? Is it just a natural path? Does it look like it's a worn like path or?
With a regular success, you don't tell that, but you can look a little closer at it. And do tracking. Anybody that wants to take a close look at this path, do a tracking roll.
Ooh.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to succeed on that.
You know what? For shits and giggles,
There's
I could
always
roll.
a chance.
I shit you not, that's the one success I get, is when I have to roll under a 10.
Ha!
Yeah, I got a hard success.
Okay. Was yours regular success, Diana?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mags and Sheriff Rex, you see this path, or it's pointed out to you rather. Mags, you pointed out to Sheriff Rex, and while you're doing that, Ulrich, you pointed out to Maybell, and you both go over and take a little bit closer look. And Maybell, you notice that there are, it looks like the grass has been worn down, and the track has disturbed the leaves that have fallen from the jungle. It's not a natural path. It looks like it's a path that's been worn down over time. Like this is a well-traveled route from the top to the bottom of the valley. Ulrich, with a hard success, you see footprints that look like they could be human. They're a little bit bigger than things you've seen in, and they're barefoot. It's not a shoe print. You also see what could be big bird prints, biggest damn bird you've ever seen.
Hey, Mags, you see this?
Yeah, but I have absolutely no idea what made them.
Well, it's a path. I mean,
Well,
surely
look
it
closer
leads-
here.
Well, what would have made that?
I mean, it leads somewhere, right? But where it would lead would depend on who's trekking that path. We got someone courting their way through this jungle, no leather twixt their toes. And, I mean, I'm no avian, but, those look like bird tracks, do they not?
They do. Kinda. Although
would-
nothing here really looks like anything I've seen before, so.
It's certainly true.
Well, if it's all new, any critters we come across are going to be afraid of us, right?
Unless, well, not doubting you, but it just depends on how such a creature reacts to fear.
Either way,
All I know
if
is
there's-
Go
If
ahead.
there's intelligent life, maybe we ought to, tread carefully, but follow that path, because if they've managed to survive here, amongst all the critters, Maybe we can learn something at the very least.
I agree. The god's up at least.
We can't stay here all day.
No. No. We can't.
Try and look extra intimidating, Ulrich. Put
I'd
your
take a
hat,
fit.
kind of puff up.
Mm.
You've done it before.
She says that, and I like puff up and like touch all my various crowbars and hammers and my stick of dynamite like in my, vest, and I'm like offended.
Precisely.
You're naturally terrifying, Mags.
Thank you.
He has to work at it.
Fair.
Remind me, Keeper, did we have a cart and stuff with us too? Weren't we? Didn't we have a like a Gatling gun?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Well. Nope, it's gone. No, I'm kidding.
I should have.
I'm kidding. No.
It was
should've
on the
waited
horse.
Yeah, that's right. It had been packed down, and it was on an extra horse, right?
Poor
so
horse.
yeah, you all
Was
have your
strapped to
horses,
the back.
and yeah, you had a broken, like dismantled Gatling gun in its various pieces on the back on one of the horse in like a pannier, and Mags, I think you had several sticks of dynamite. You had been left a pouch with dynamite, and who has the little eggs? You had 2 of them, right? Because one got
Yeah.
spent.
One
And
got spent, and I gave that to Logan.
just a quick recap. Mags, you still have half of a potion vial that may or may not turn you into a dude for a while.
Blood. Say it. It's blood.
Yeah,
Saving it
it's
for
got blood in it.
later.
Crimson potion.
And somebody ended up with a handheld device.
Did I take those or did Ulrich? I thought one of the two of us took that. You're talking about the little like weird. I don't know if they're shields or what they are.
Well, there
Those
were
were
the
the
two
eggs.
egg-shaped things, and then there was a it was an elongated crystal with like a sort of bluish
That's right. 'cause we made
spot
the
on it.
charging crystal joke. I made the charging.
I don't recall.
I thought it's either Dallas or me.
If you would have wanted it, if Mabel would have wanted it, I would have absolutely let her have it.
I mean, my sister turned into a dude, so I probably don't want to touch anything that I don't know explicitly what it is.
It's fair.
Just saying.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you have that. It doesn't really matter who has it right now, but there's that other.
I have it.
But
Okay.
it will, because they're going to
It
be
is
the
a-
only safe person in town.
Or the only dead person.
Palm-sized milky white crystal shot through with tiny dark blue striations, with a single 3 to 4 inch long shard jutting out of the end.
Okay.
Cool. So,
I'll sort of gesture down the path and stare at Ulrich.
Yeah, I
I
say
can take lead. All right.
Yeah, Ulrich, maybe you take the lead on this one. I'm a bit better at well, the outdoors is not my strong suit when it comes to seeing things like this, you know. So,
Sure.
follow your lead.
How's my shoulder?
you were pretty fully healed, right? You should have recovered all your hit points between the first aid and the magic.
Oh, the magic. That's right.
Your
that's right.
shoulder's a dinosaur, actually, right now.
Wonderful. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I am equipped and ready with the prized Monroe Winchester. Yeah, and I'm honestly Ulrich right now is ready to shoot anything.
How are you proceeding down the path? So Ulrich's in the lead. Who's next?
I'll bring up the rear, I guess.
I'll
How difficult of a path is it to walk down?
It's about 3 feet wide. It's a little steep,
Okay.
and it's a little bit slick from the moisture, general moisture in the air coming off the waterfall, the vegetation. It's not a super Sunday walk, but you won't have
It's not
extreme
like
difficulty.
not a treacherous climb or something.
No.
Okay. No, they don't have at least have my hands ready to grab my guns, but I'm probably not walking in case I do slip and like don't want to shoot myself in the face or anything.
I'll walk behind Ulrich. If Mags will let me, I'm gonna hold her hand, because I'm gonna die without these fools. But I'm also going to follow Ulrich maybe 15 feet back. So in case something jumps out and eats him, we can run. Just kidding. Love you, Xavier.
Clever girl.
Mags, anything to add?
No, I firmly take her hand and like puff up and look as intimidating and scary as possible.
As you descend further into the valley, the roar of the waterfall becomes ever present. That's basically the only thing you hear now. To speak to each other, you're going to have to yell. Everything kind of has that damp smell to it where it just never quite dries here. The vegetation is lush. Everybody give me a spot hidden.
Oh boy. Still failure for me.
I succeeded by 2.
That was a rat failure, is what that was.
Not a rootin' tootin' failure.
Yeah, I failed.
Oh no.
Beautiful.
I was going to ask if I could push
Your
it, but
fate
I can't think of an
lies in
excuse.
my hands.
I can't think of an excuse to push it. So
Look harder.
I squint.
any slight movement, I'll shoot. How about that? That'll be my push.
Jeez.
He's gonna
That's
shoot
no.
us.
That's just,
Yeah.
he's joking. He's joking.
Small child again.
180 degrees.
Hi,
Normal
mister.
down.
Welcome to my... Oh, God.
No, that was
Like a
Mason's
munchkin
game.
from fucking
Yeah.
Munchkin Land.
like to buy any? Yeah.
As you are all walking, this oppressive heat is just getting to you. This is hotter than any of you have ever been because it's not a dry heat. We'll say that. It's a moist heat. It's that real sticky, damp heat like a locker room. Maybell, you notice that the path has been cleared a little bit. So yes, it's almost like a game trail, but it also looks like the vegetation has been hit back just a little bit because in this sort of environment, the jungle would overtake a path fairly quickly if it wasn't regularly used. So you see a couple signs where it looks like some of the stuff has been hacked away roughly.
Could I take a look at the broken stalks, broken branches, and see if it looks like it was done just with a stick or with a blade?
Yes. Apologies. Roll your dice while I try and figure out what you're rolling for.
I want to charm them into showing me.
There's no straight investigation on this one, is there? And I don't want to. It's not really tracking. Do spot hidden again, because you're looking at it for some sort of hidden meaning.
I would like to push my roll.
Oh no.
By instead of staying on the path, I'm gonna let go of Megs's hand for a second and step off the path to compare the cut branch to an uncut branch and see if there's like a bevel or an angle or something that to see the consistency of the branch, let's say, to see how hard it would have to be hit with a tool for it to work.
Yeah, step off that trail.
Bye guys, I'll miss you. That is a rootin' tootin' highfalutin success.
All right. So as you look at the branches, you see two different things. Some of them you see have just been snapped off, and they're still like hanging there. So it looks like something has just with force pushed it out of the way, and it snapped off. Some of them have been crudely cut down. You've seen the sharpness of the Bowie knives that the ranch hands carry, and they're doing their log cutting and tricks that they do, and this has not been cut by a sharp blade.
Okay. So not an advanced tool. I will kind of just very quickly show. You said it's really loud right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ulrich probably doesn't notice that I've stopped for a second. I'll sort of just point to it so that Mags can see, and so that Dallas can see as he's approaching us, and then continue along the path, but I'm also going to kind of gesture for Dallas to follow closer. Now that I know there is at least semi-intelligent life.
But their hacking tools aren't great, so it's good news.
That just means they aren't smart enough to negotiate. She said, yelling over the waterfall.
Y'all keep up.
Maybe you should slow down.
Everybody give me a dexterity check.
Everybody clap your hands. Hey.
Come on, man.
Hard success, baby.
I too succeeded, but it was soft. It was a
Dex
flaccid
is my highest
success.
stat, and I still couldn't.
I failed.
I failed.
So as you all are regular fail? No, there's no such thing. Nobody hit 100 though, right? Just a. So as you all are making your way down this path, it gets a little steeper as it continues its journey into the valley, and you all notice that it has the same characteristics as a game trail, where they're not hacking through giant trees to get from point A to point B. They're winding their way through the woods, following the natural contours of the land and dealing with any giant trees or boulders or anything like that as you go. As you all are, as the path steepens, Mags, you're holding Maybell's hand, and you're kind of walking along on these very slippery leaves, and suddenly from behind you, Sheriff Rex, you hear a muffled oof over the waterfalls, and he slips and slides right into you, and both of you go tumbling down the hill.
Whee! So I let go of my sister's hand so as not to bring her down with me.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna try and catch you both. So
Oh boy.
this is gonna go well.
Give me a brawl check.
Fudge.
Yeah. You're gonna try and grapple them as they go sliding past you.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I don't have brawl on my sheet at all. Because I have the traditional Call of Cthulhu sheet.
Everybody has 25% brawl if you didn't put more.
Oh,
into
there it is. Okay, just kidding. It's under fighting brawl, so I was looking for the alphabet because I know my alphabet. I don't think a 90 is gonna succeed.
No, in fact, that's so poor that when you try to grab them, you slip as well, and they pull you down after them. Ulrich, how successful did you get? A hard success, regular success?
That was a hard, good sir.
Okay. With a hard success, it's hard to hear in here, but you do hear a momentary yelp as Maybell tries to grab the other two, and she goes sliding after it, and you're able to kind of jump out of the way as they all come tumbling down and land at a heap almost at your feet, where the path sort of evens out. Um, nothing terrible happens. Just your pride. You guys are covered in wet, sticky leaves and some mud, and you don't smell great.
Uh,
Oh, son of a bitch! What are you guys doing with your horses? That's something we should determine.
Oh, they are still
because-
here. Okay. I thought,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Oh,
you
sorry, I was
you-
kidding.
I mean, I'm
They
feeling
moved
kind
out
of
the way.
hungry, so
shut up. Don't even joke about that.
You, the area is you could have ridden them as far as height, but it was much too steep to ride the horse down this path.
I'm guiding it.
Yeah,
If
probably.
you decided to keep them, which that's up to you.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
this jungle has to end.
Eventually.
And also, they make a better snack than I do, so.
But you
Bait.
a snack, Mason. I like to think that us landing at the bottom of this hill, there's one of those terrible rom-commy moments when I look up and see that I'm on top of both my sister and my crush, and I just jump up and just stiff as a board, just stand there.
Like you're in an anime.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks for the help, sis.
If
I tried. Y'all are heavy.
Shots fired.
Yeah, might be important to watch your step.
Thank you
Can
for
I-
your help.
Much
Yeah,
obliged.
no one asked you.
yeah, good catch, Ulrich.
Is the middle finger gesture in this time?
It can be.
We can make it one.
Because it's about to be.
Yeah, this is mostly made up. Mostly.
Can I do a listen check after that yelp and tumble? See if anything has changed in the noise, if things have gone either weirdly silent or if there's the sound of, more breaking brush.
Yep. Give me listen. The three of you give me animal handling.
Oh shit.
Ulrich, you have your horse since you didn't go sliding down the hill. Your horse is still with you, but
Oh, good.
Wait,
Is that
three
failures
listening
on
to
all
animal
three?
handling?
That's a major failure for me.
Oh, no.
Major failure reporting for duty.
Does anybody have? I have 5% animal handling.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
14. Because I tried to befriend that
That's
one
right.
horse. But no, I
Um,
still failed hard.
When you say extreme failure, did you roll 100, Emily?
No.
Okay.
You'll know when I roll 100.
Okay.
You'll
all right.
know.
Well, clearly.
Yes, as you all go sliding, your horses spook, and
Ugh.
everybody roll me luck, all four of you.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck no.
Hey.
A 0 on 1. I got excited.
Oh.
But
Okay,
what's on the
guys.
other one?
60.
I got a regular by 3
Okay.
points.
I need to take a picture. I rolled a 1.
Oh.
Wow.
All right.
I failed
Very
by
nice.
1 point.
All right.
Luck?
So Mags's horse goes running off into the underbrush. Sheriff Rex, yours does too, but the opposite direction. So one runs towards the waterfall, one runs away from the waterfall. Maybell, with a 1, both of your horses, well, your horse plus the horse carrying the Gatling gun, they both go wild eye and start to run, but they run straight down the hill where you all went. And Ulrich's horse is standing there, so they sort of stop when they get there, and they all sniff and bite their teeth and figure out who's the pack leader at that point, and they actually stick around with the rest of you. So you did lose 2 horses, but you have the Gatling gun still.
Gatlin horse.
Gatling horse. How'd your listen check go?
Regular success.
Um, to be honest, all you hear is the waterfall. It's just a rushing, ever-present noise. You guys have made it about 3/4 of the way down the hill, and you notice what sort of stopped your path without actually braining you all was there's a boulder, and at the boulder, the path forks. One leads further downhill and towards the stream, and that one looks much more um, heavily traveled. It's wider at this point, and there's a lot of different tracks going down that way. You see more of those big bird tracks. You see some that just defy size for any sort of thing that you could imagine, and also some human tracks of lots of different sizes. Back the other direction, it leads further into the jungle, and it has a combination of all those tracks as well, but humans much higher percentage there.
Hmm.
Sorry, bare feet that look similar to yours.
Seems we got ourselves a decision to make with what we've got left.
Seems hardly a decision. We go on the well-traveled one.
Yeah, well, what's your definition? Come look at these tracks. We got what appears to be people, along with these large bird types. And we have, as well, some people. Now, tracks go in both directions. Obviously well traveled, but I'll tell you one thing, water is life. Civilization can be found nearest it.
Well, you've answered your own question then.
Oh,
Have I? Is that where we want to go?
I mean, all creatures need to drink as far as I know, so we're just as safe heading towards it as away. I mean, say that big boy we saw earlier came by to take a drink and decided to grab a snack as well.
Mags is gonna scare him away. It's fine.
Oh, maybe Mag should go first then.
All right.
Mags,
What?
you shouldn't encourage her.
If we want to head on down to the river, that's certainly fine. We stand as much a chance of predicting either direction. I just want to be certain this is the path we want to head on. It's much steeper. Keep a hold on those horses.
Well, the stream's our only landmark, isn't it?
Certainly. It would be foolish to head too far away from it and not be able to track it. Especially since that's what we were heading on before we ended up in this predicament. Just keep a hold on the reins.
You know this isn't my forte. Do my best.
I believe in
travel
you.
in jungles is certainly my forte.
It might be you won't tell us a thing about yourself.
Now's the time. Now's the time. Let's have this conversation. You're right.
No, I'm just saying. You don't just have to agree or disagree with what I'm saying just to disagree with me.
Perhaps you're right. I apologize. Things a bit heated. Literally. Let's just try and get out of this in one piece, all of us. All right?
Let's
To
just
say I care about you is...
Let's keep it quiet, though. We don't know if these people, things, beasts, any of them could want to eat us. So, let's just keep it quiet if we can. And I'm
Alright.
fully aware of the irony of that statement, having just fallen myself. So, we can all move on now. I'm gonna try and brush all the gunk off me and proceed with caution.
What's
Cast
the-
Rex a visible smirk.
What's the final decision? Left or right?
Left.
Toward the stream.
Away from the water?
No, towards
Sorry.
the water.
Right.
Yeah, toward waterway.
For some reason, my picture was left water.
You're coming down the left side of the waterfall, and left goes further into the jungle and deeper into the valley. Right
I
goes
see.
over towards the rushing waterfall and the river.
Towards the water.
Towards the water. Okay. Um, if possible, it gets louder as you head towards the river, because now you're at the base of this waterfall where it's falling 200 feet to crash into the river below. Everybody give me a straight up Constitution check.
Fudge.
I think that's my worst one.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Hard success.
Oh, I missed it by 7.
I failed again.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
a-
fail.
Dynamite success.
Dynamite success. What's this dance? I like this. Somebody clip that dance.
Buddy, come on.
So 3 failures and a success.
No, I had a hard success, sir.
Oh, okay. Hard success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gentlemen, you all are sweltering. You're hot. You've got your jackets on. You know, Mag's in her sleeveless jerkin and apron. She's doing all right. I cannot remember what Mabel's wearing. I think she ditched the dress, right?
Well, she ditched it for the battle in the gorge. But those
right.
weren't her clothes, and she's polite, so she probably returned them. So she's probably wearing a dress, honestly.
But we'll make accommodations that you probably cut it off, remove some petticoats. It's a little lighter. It's not a big heavy thing.
I'm not wearing my crinolines. We'll put it that way.
Yes, yeah.
He's just trying to get the man to undress.
And you
what
guys
you want.
you're starting to you've got sweat pouring off your body. It's almost affecting. You're having a difficult time thinking. You can't remember the last time you drank water. Just keep that thought in mind. We'll see if that comes back to haunt you. I don't know yet. I know. And as you walk down the path, the jungle suddenly opens up, and you're on the riverbank. And the river is much wider and bigger than you remember it being. And from this waterfall, it is rushing by you with power. If you were to step under that waterfall, you feel like you'd be pummeled to death in moments. Everybody give me a spot hidden. You're going to see something whether you succeed or not, but we'll see how much you see.
Failure.
That is
New
a
dice time.
rootin' tootin'.
There shouldn't be a question mark at
You
the
got to
end.
do the dance.
I didn't see the dance. Somebody
I'm not going to do the dance, but I had a
Was it
a
one of
dynamite
these?
success.
It's good enough.
Yeah, that's right on the same.
Okay.
It kind of turned into the hand jive after a while. Like it
Yeah.
it was a thing.
Jazz hands?
So as you all come out, first off, you notice there's been some sort of something happening here. On the far side of the riverbank, you can just make out what looks like a body that's been worried by animals, and it looks like it's been mangled pretty good. On this side of the river, you see those of you that got your rootin' tootin' successes, you see debris. Looks like a river-going vessel of some sort. You see like a smokestack that you associate with like a flat bottom river steam-fed wheel. And you see some smashed provisions, a barrel. It looks like a boat went over the top of this waterfall and smashed at the ground there. For the rootin' tootin' successes, I know I already said that once. You see a smashed chest that just bobs up from the water as you stand there and floats down. And on the chest, you see a big copper seal in the shape of a coiled snake.
How modern does this stuff look?
It looks like your time. Like
Cool.
This would be something that you would expect to see on the river.
Okay, I'm going to chase
Temporary.
after the chest.
Okay. Did you have a rootin' tootin' success?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Seeing her take off, I will follow her to assist with whatever
Same.
nonsense she's about to get me killed with.
Fuck. Shouting as loud as I can to try and get over this sound of the waterfall. But you don't know what's over there.
I don't care. I sprint and fling myself because the chest looks like it's floating away, right?
Yeah, it's going down the river.
Yeah, I sprint and fling myself into the water after it.
Into the water after it.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything I can mount up on to give my gun stabilization so I can just watch?
You got your horse.
All right.
You have gun horse too.
Yeah, get gun horse ready.
It'll take you a minute
horse.
to put the Gatling gun together, but
I'm just gonna keep my eye ready for anything that might come out of the water or the jungle line on the opposite bank.
okay. Roll me a swim.
Oh
What do
no.
you-
Yeah, I didn't think that through, did you?
Mags and
can't swim.
Sheriff Rex, when Maybell dives into the water, what do you all do? So Mags, you would have seen the chest. Sheriff Rex, you have no idea what she's doing.
How fast is the water going?
I do.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
White Water Rapids, but it is coming off of the waterfall in a pretty good clip.
Like, I'm pretty good with rope. Maybe I could like lasso her foot.
Nice.
Give it a shot.
Or at least get it close enough so she could grab it?
That's backup option.
Okay, yeah.
That is a success.
How's your swim going?
So I rolled a 21 and spent my 1 luck to make it a success.
All right. Sheriff Rex, are you doing anything?
I mean,
You watching?
seeing that somebody else has already grabbed her up and thrown it, how heavy? I mean, if the chest looks heavy, I mean, we're gonna need help pulling it in, so I will wait.
It's about yay big.
Oh,
But
okay,
it-
not like
it, like-
okay.
No, not like a big chest, but like a little chest. But it bobbed, and that's all. You just saw part of it as it popped up, and then it started floating down the river. So, with your success on a swim, regular success on swim, regular success on rope, right? You jump in the water and you start swimming after this chest. And you know what? Mags was on it. Mags was ready to assist. She whips that rope out. Bzz, this perfect lasso. It looks like her and Lewis were out back practicing roping calves or something. I don't know. So this rope reaches out almost delicately, almost slowly it seems, and it lands around you in a perfect lasso, and she gives a pull to that just as you're like swimming forward and just about to grab that chest, and she whoop pulls you right out of reach of it as the
I
chest
can't
goes.
avoid it?
Mm-mm. No, you're swimming towards the chest. You don't know what's going on. You
I
succeeded, so you didn't die. You
pull
didn't
it
drown.
off.
You're gonna try and pull the rope off while you're in the water.
If there is still a snowball's chance in hell of me getting that chest, then yes.
All right. Give me a dexterity check.
That's a failure.
Go ahead and give me do brawl, Mags. It's a little strange. You're fighting her with a rope though.
So wait, just to be clear, can I tell that Maybell is trying to grab this thing and Mags is very clearly just like pulling her in? Or
Go ahead and give me a spot hidden on that because you didn't see the chest before, but you might be able to see it now. That's a
That
5.
is,
I can't.
as we
tell.
say, a dynamite success.
Is it changing from rootin' tootin' to dynamite because you got a pouch full of dynamite?
Uh-huh.
I'm
You-
a little unclear. Is that extreme or hard?
You know what? I'm not
It's
sure,
hard
but she's
now.
real excited about it, so I'm gonna give it to her as an extreme. How was your so you failed the dex roll and you succeeded on the brawl roll. How's your spot hidden there, Sheriff?
Mm-mm.
Nope. You have no idea what you as far as you concerned, she might have seen something that drove her off the edge and she's pulling an Ophelia
Goodbye,
on us,
cruel world.
trying to
Mabel,
jump
what
in
are
the
you-
water.
What are you
Um,
doing?
And I mean, with a 5 on that brawl, you pull her sputtering. Come on, back to the bank there.
I fight her the whole way back, and the instant I get there, I start screaming about the chest and pointing downriver.
can I see it if she's pointing it out?
You get one glimpse at wood, but you can't see the copper seal from where
If
you're
it
at
seems
anymore.
important to her, can I run after it down the river then? I don't know why it's important, but it seems to be important to her, and I guess I'm gonna get
Oh,
eaten
we're all
for
gonna
it, but-
die. We're leaving the path now. We're spreading out.
Absolutely. There is a river bank, so there's a section between the river and the trees where it's mostly rocky, and it's not overgrown. It looks like maybe this area floods out when the river's higher, but right now it's a little bit receded.
Because I was hoping I could get to an area where it like hits like some rocks or some like fallen trees or something, and then like clamber out there and just pick it up as it gets, if I'm lucky enough, it gets stuck on something or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
Take off running. Give me a. Is there a run, or is that just gonna be dexterity?
I don't think it's gonna matter based on how I've been rolling, but I'll leave.
Yeah, go ahead and give me dexterity. Is there anything that you want to do, or you just stand and watch, Ulrich?
Seeing all the kerfuffle of these my companions scuttling about in the water. Honestly, I'm watching. Can I hear the splashing of them over the water?
The waterfall's at your back. It is. Have any of you all been at the base of a waterfall before? Like, you know that
waterfall, but yeah, that
that rushing, roaring noise that's ever present through all of this. I forgot. Roll that dexterity at disadvantage since you failed your Constitution roll and you are exhausted right now, and sweaty and gross and moist and
disadvantage
stanky.
or with a penalty die.
Penalty die.
But yes, considering that
Hard success.
Hard success.
considering I can't hear them, my line of sight will go from the tree line to just the water, making sure that nothing is gonna come up.
Okay. Sheriff Rex, the women are fighting over this rope. She's pulling her back in, and Maybell's trying to rip it off, and Mags is trying to pull her in tighter so she can't go committing suicide in the water or whatever she was trying to do. Although you did see the chest, right, Mags? That
I
was a
believe
success, I
that
think.
I believe that the check to see the chest was one that I failed.
Okay. So you don't know what she's doing either. So as far as you two are concerned, she's gone mad.
Crazy banana
but
pants.
So you're able to take off running down the stream. And the water's moving quick, but you're gaining on that chest. Roll me luck to see if it snags on something. I like this catch-all thing. It's like, I don't know. Did it happen?
Look.
Let's see.
Nope.
So you go running after this, and the chest, it bumps up against a rock, and it looks like it might get stuck, but it spins and flows down the river. In your mad dash away, you've dashed about 150 feet away from the rest, when suddenly, out of the trees on the opposite bank, bursts a gigantic lizard-looking creature, 13 feet high, roars, twice your size. It's very similar, if not the exact same one that you all saw previously from atop. It looks a lot scarier now. Everybody roll me
How wide is the river?
check.
Roll a what? Who check?
Sanity check.
No.
Sanity.
Yep.
Well, that's cocked actually. Hold on. Oh, I might have successed.
Remind me, is this one we want to fail?
I barely
No.
successed.
You want to succeed here.
21 is a hard success, baby. I was looking for this bitch.
He's the dude in Lost World. He's like, let me hunt a buck.
I
And then I
failed
pull out
by
my
2.
flare and
Yeah, it's motion activated. So we got one failure. Mags.
That was a success for me.
I succeeded.
So everybody succeeded, but you're sitting here wrestling with this rope, and you hear this roar that it turns your bowels to water. You have that butterfly sensation that goes from your your chest all the way down to your bladder, and roll me a d6.
4.
You lose 4 sanity points.
Okay.
Ulrich, do you shoot it? You are primed. Do you open fire?
Oh fuck yeah! And I understand, lizards, and this one being a real big one, probably gonna be smarter to go for a soft spot. So I want to aim for the eye, but you said they're how far out? 100 yards or so?
They're about 150 feet, and he is 13 feet tall, plus across the river, which is about 20 feet right now.
I think I've been practicing. I'm going for that fucking eye.
Yeah, you're doing a called shot. I don't know exactly how that works, but
I'm going for its left eye.
okay.
Am I doing that right now?
How far away
Yeah,
from
go for
me is it? Like, how does it look like it can just step across a tiny river? Is it like?
No, it's about 20 feet from shore to shore. So it would take a couple bounds, and you can't tell how deep it is. And I don't know what the jumping prowess of a dinosaur is, but I don't think it's gonna leap across this river at you.
They're afraid
I
of
feel
water.
like you're lulling me into a false sense of security right now. It takes one single stride and steps across the river.
Yeah.
I gotta spend 1 luck to make this a regular success.
So I'm actually gonna roll to contend this one because it does have a dodge skill. So I know that's weird, but
It's so big, it's just harder to hit. I get it.
T-Rex is a combat expert.
It's true. Yeah, T-Rex have been training for years.
You know
Maximum
gun horse.
bullets.
Now we have combat dinosaur.
Quick, grab the good Gatling horse.
it does not dodge. I rolled a 94.
Oh my god.
So it does have armor though, hide
Yeah.
armor. So see how much damage it does.
So we're not going with called shot? I just shot at the thing.
Big target.
And you said a regular. Well, you just barely got a regular success, right?
Yeah. So 8 plus 3 is 11.
Okay. I will mark that appropriately. So you're aiming for its eye, and you actually hit it like above the eye in the part where its skull is real thick, and it kind of rocks its head and then turns at you and just roars again. Sheriff, you said you wanted to shoot at it?
I'm just gonna unload like 1 shot from each gun just up into the if it opens that mouth, just try and peg it in the mouth or the throat area. Just for flavor. I'm just gonna roll. So
Okay.
Let's see. How does this work? Do I roll per shot or is it?
You've got 2 guns, so yeah, we'll roll 1 for each gun.
All right. Oh no, I still failed my first one. Second one was a hard success.
Okay. See how much damage you do?
Yeah, I'm pulling up my gun. Okay, here we go. 6 total.
You hit it, and it doesn't even look like your bullet does. It barely notices you. So it got hit in the head by Ulrich, and it takes 1 massive step into the river and starts coming at you. Mags and nope, just Mags. Mags, roll me a spot hidden, because Maybell, you're wrestling with the rope and dealing with terror. Gents, you went straight to killing this great noble beast that has not walked the earth for 1,000,000 years.
That is a failure.
Okay.
Depending on how this next little bit goes, I'm gonna do something real stupid.
Haven't we already?
Not quite.
Grab a
this
stick
dumb.
of dynamite from Mags and start waving it back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about the damn horses again. Maybell, Ulrich, and Mags, roll me luck real quick to see if the horses run away. Because you're using your horse as a aiming, aren't you, Ulrich?
Yeah.
I
That
success.
is a success.
Ulrich, how'd you do?
On a what?
Luck.
Oh shit! Sorry. I think that's a failure. Let me see. Yeah.
Your horse. So Mags, Maybell, the two horses, and Gun Horse. You guys miraculously keep Gun Horse around. You had tied them together, so they started to like pull away, and then they looked at each other and they're like, "Oh well, I guess we're fucked either way. This thing comes after us, so we're just gonna sit here." Ulrich, your horse bucks after you fire the shot, and this thing it kind of all happens simultaneously. So you get the shot off, and then it bucks and jumps, runs the opposite direction up the hill, up the trail you all came. Knocks you on your butt. So you're not prepared to fire a second round immediately. When a rock comes sailing out of the air and hits you in the back as you hit the ground. Not like slung out to do damage, but it definitely hits you in the back.
Me?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So
Little
I fall
me?
over?
Yeah, you got bucked back and you land on your butt, and right about the time you land on your butt, you get hit in the back with a rock.
I'm gonna. That's fucking weird. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. This creature yelling at me. Something hits me in the back after I hit my ass. I'm gonna swivel around, gun ready.
Standing there, on the trailhead, looking at the dinosaur and then looking back at you, there is a man. He is a little bit disproportionate. He's got a larger forehead, very hairy. He's wearing a fur loincloth and very wide, muscular arms. And he looks at the dinosaur and then he motions for you. Big sweeping gestures. He's got in his hand a staff with something very strange on the tied to the end of it.
I'm not gonna follow him without checking on my companions first.
So you ignore him?
Well, the T-Rex is charging at me.
Well, it's taken a step into the river at the closest small
me?
squishy thing, which
Okay, so
yeah,
okay.
it's you. You
Yeah.
rocked it in the side of the head, then Mason shot it, and it kind of swung its head back and forth and saw him closer and took a step forward.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on my companions. I'm gonna look at him, acknowledge his presence, see that he's not trying to kill me, and then focus back on this monstrosity.
All right. Sheriff Rex, you get another action.
How quickly do I feel like it's going to reach the other side, the side that I'm on? Like, is it like wading really deep? Like, is it slow?
It's taken one step, and the step went. The water covered its foot, and it's going to take its second step. So we've gone like 5-6 seconds in this whole round, this whole exchange.
Do I notice weird loincloth man?
I'm gonna guess
else,
no.
Or anyone else? But
His
yeah.
name is Justice.
I'm gonna guess that this dinosaur standing over top of you is taking up a lot of your attention.
How close is Mabel to where I am now?
You ran about 100 feet ahead of them. They're back behind you, wrestling with the rope. And we'll see what they're doing here in just a moment.
Okay. Seeing that it's focused on me, though, I'm probably not going to run back towards them. I think he would probably, because, yeah, I'm gonna take off in the other direction. What does the water look like ahead of me?
So if you were looking across the river right now,
I mean, like downriver. Like if I follow it, does it pick up speed at all?
it actually looks like it bends around into the woods, and it might actually maybe be slowing down just a little bit from where the waterfall was rushing it out.
Oh, that doesn't work at all.
I mean, it's still moving pretty quickly, but
but based on speed of dinosaur, I don't think it's gonna outpace speed of dinosaur, do I?
I don't know. You might have to swim for it.
That's fuck. I don't want to take it back that way because I don't know that there's a magical caveman who might save us, and that it might eat my companions. So, seeing as how our guns didn't do anything, I guess I'm gonna take off sprinting downriver and see if I dive in and go underneath, if I can just hold my breath, if it just like won't see me, or if there's any brush, like if there's a log that I can tuck myself up underneath at some point, like like it's like, oh, I dive underwater and then like kind of hide underneath so that it doesn't see me, I don't know, but either way,
Okay.
going back the other way.
Mags and Maybell. Mags, you have pulled Maybell to shore, and the dinosaur burst out. Both of you kind of stopped for a moment, and Maybell, you froze completely. So Mags, the guns have fired off, the horses have whinnied. Sheriff Rex is about to book it. You haven't seen him book it yet. We're dealing with a round of action here.
I frantically start untying the rope from Maybell's leg. And I'm like, shit, we gotta get out of here.
Have I snapped out of it?
Yeah, when she says, shit, we got to get out of here, you forget about the box because there's a 13-foot dinosaur standing in front of you.
That's unimportant right now.
Yeah. And that kind of spurs you out of your funk, your momentary sanity.
How deep's the river?
You can't tell. Where the dinosaur has stepped in, it's about 20 feet wide. It's taken one step in, and the water covered its foot.
Cool. So, in one fell swoop, because it's going to be me kind of flailing my arms, I'm going to scoop up a handful of rocks, or at least like a very large rock, and heave it as hard as I can at a different section of the river so that it'll make like a big kerplunk noise. And as I'm bringing down that arm, I'm going to put it on Mags' shoulder and just pull her into a crouch with me.
Going into a crouch?
Yep.
Instead of running like she said?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a throw. Are you going to go with the crouch? Because you are much larger than her, and in theory, you could just pick her up if you wanted to.
Yeah, but she's smarter than me, so I think she's onto something here.
Sometimes I'm smarter than you, and then other times I almost kill myself over a box. Throw. There it is, throw. Yeah, I'm gonna spend 4 luck to make that a success.
All right. We're so you pick up a rock and throw it. Are you throwing it towards the waterfall or away from the waterfall?
Really sort of straight out from me, because we ran a little ways. Like, we're not right up on the waterfall, right?
Right. You're 100 feet from Ulrich. No. you're like 50, 25 feet ahead of Ulrich, and Sheriff Rex ran ahead, so he's about 100 feet beyond you,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the river is 20 feet wide.
Cool. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna take the rock and throw it directly, like, perpendicular. There we go. To the shoreline, is like to the center of the river to make the biggest kerplunk possible.
All right. So you pick up a rock, you throw it in the middle of the river. It makes a big kerplunk. About that time, Sheriff Rex stands up and takes off running downriver. Ulrich, you've fallen on your butt and noticed Caveman and turned back around to see your companions. You're not quite sure what they're doing. Rolled the dice to see where the dinosaur would go, and Sheriff Rex stands up and takes off running, and the dinosaur whips its head and tracks him and starts trucking down the river after him.
Clarifying point there, Justice. Because we didn't really go super into it, I have to check back and see, because I think you sent me a message. When Hitoke and I learned magic, like when I went into that, what did he give me access to?
When you learned a magic,
When I learned
yeah,
a
I sent you a
scroll.
message, but I have it in a sheet. You learned a little bit of folk healing, and a little bit of deflect harm.
Okay, I might hold on to that. So I don't have anything. I don't have mist or anything.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, still deflect harm may maybe better than nothing in a minute here.
If I see that my rock didn't work, I'm just gonna scream as loud as I possibly can, just to make noise.
Okay. T-Rex charging after Sheriff Rex. We're gonna cycle back around to Ulrich.
I'm sending multiple shots.
Okay. Mags, you get hit in the back by a rock, and while you're kind of hunched over. And Sheriff Rex, you look back and this dinosaur is coming towards you.
Can I whip around and like try to find where the rock came from?
Yep. If you turn your head, he's not hiding. He's just right at the edge of the woods, and he's motioning, eyes wide. Great.
I want to full body grab Maybell and start pulling her toward the direction he's waving in.
Okay. Maybell, you're screaming as Mags grabs you.
Can I fight her at all?
Yeah, you guys can do a contested roll. Go ahead and
That won't
roll,
go well.
Ulrich. Go ahead and roll to see your gunshots. Just do one more shot. Both of you all roll brawl. And Sheriff, are you running or are you gonna jump in the water?
Well, I was gonna say, do I see like are the trees thick enough that this big bad boy can't just squeeze through and follow me, or is it like, can I tell?
Yeah. It's thick growth. When you roll me a spot hidden real quick.
That's a 95.
Okay. You don't notice anything about the opposite riverbank, but you do notice that, I mean, they're big trees, and if you just took off running into the woods, you might be able to lose them pretty quick.
And the water's not slowing him down at all.
He's taken another step forward, and it's come up. He's about halfway through, and it's come up to his hip now. So he is moving a little slower. He kind of starts to whip his tail back and forth and move kind of like an alligator swims.
Okay. Then if he's in the middle of the river going slower, I'm legit trying to put myself in the position of a person being chased by a dinosaur beside a river, thinking like, would it be faster for me to dive in? Because if he can cross faster than he can go down the stream at that point. Then is
It's
the way
less
that my
distance.
yeah.
I got a regular success if it matters at all
Okay.
for this decision-making process.
Okay. Um,
Just to be clear, the water, is it just clear water? Like, is it like, do I think he could see me underneath it? Like, is there brush in the way? Could I, like, is there shit to hide behind? Like, could I dive in and?
it's pretty like the waterfall is churning up a lot of mud and dirt and whatnot. So right around this area, it looks like it might clear up a little bit downriver, but right here it's pretty turbid. Is that the right word?
So then in that case, I don't know what other horrors are in the jungle. I'm gonna dive in the water. Like, I'm just gonna see if I can dive in. Because he seems to be moving slower in the water. Because I can at least go as fast as the water, which should be faster than he can walk in the water. So I'm gonna dive in the water, try and swim a little further away, and then kind of go underneath and see if I can get out of his view.
All right.
And hide.
Roll me damage on your shot. Maybell, roll me persuade. Your scream is going to be a persuade check.
Do you want to know what I got on my brawl roll first?
Yeah.
I got a 29.
What'd you get, Mags?
I got a 39.
Is that a success for you?
Yeah, that's a not a dynamite, but a success.
What about you, Maybell?
I mean, I will spend luck to make it a success.
29 versus 39, but yours is a success and yours is a failure?
Right now it's a failure.
Mine's a hard success.
I would have to spend 4 luck to make it a success.
But it'd still just be a regular
It would
success?
still just be a regular success.
Okay. I'll give you the option. If you don't do anything and it's a full failure, then she picks you up and drags you towards the jungle. If you if you spend your luck, she's going to be pulling you in that direction, but you're going to slip free and it's going to be like she's holding your hand and pulling you rather than like bodily picking you up. Or you could push your luck by doing something like biting her and seeing if she'd let go and get another roll.
I'm not gonna bite my sister. That's just mean.
Good, because she'd probably just brain you.
She'd fucking kill me. Okay, all right. But I just got pulled out of the river, so I'm soaking wet, right?
Yeah, and you both fell down the creek, so you're slimy.
Muddy and gross. Can I... Oh, no. Man, there's really a low chance I'm going to roll better than a 29.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend luck. So she's kind of dragging me along by my arm.
Okay. And roll a persuade on your scream roll there. We're going to try and persuade a dinosaur to turn its head towards you. And roll it with advantage because he just got shot by Ulrich.
Oh, I'm so glad I had advantage. That makes it a success. Just barely.
How much damage did you do, Ulrich?
$13.
Okay. The dinosaur jerks its head where you shoot it, and then it suddenly no longer cares about Sheriff Rex running away, but now the three of you have a dinosaur coming towards you.
Now I'll run with my sister.
You're just now seeing this gentleman standing at the edge of the woods as well, that is motioning you all on. As you get close to him, he's grunting, and yeah, did you rush towards them as well, Ulrich? You've seen Sheriff Rex jump into the water, and Mags and Maybell are running towards the woods now.
In the
The dinosaur is coming
magnificent
towards you.
creature.
Yep.
Wonderful. My horse took off.
Yes, yours, but it ran into the woods.
Great.
Where's Gatling Horse?
Gatlin Horse is still on the shore there, so you all have the opportunity to grab them as you run towards the woods.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the reins and pulling their bitch asses into the jungle.
Bean wants to say hi to everybody.
Beanie baby.
Oh, Lima Bean.
So as you all you get your horses, you run. You all saw Sheriff Rex run away and jump into the water. You rush into the woods. As Sheriff Rex goes floating down the river away from you all. You've successfully split the party. Congratulations. And yes.
Do I see the chest now?
You know what?
Yes, the thing that started this all.
We will potentially get into that. As the dinosaur goes charging across after you all, you rush into the woods following this strangely garbed man. Give me a spot hidden real quick.
That's a failure.
Was that all of us spot
Yeah,
hidden?
all three of you. Yep.
Fail.
Succeed.
You notice
Somebody
a
had
couple.
to.
You notice a couple strange details about this gentleman as you go rushing into the woods. The staff that he's carrying is topped by a strange thing. It's all metal. It looks a lot like the guns that your companions carry, but much sleeker, smoother in design. And it has a strange lettering on it that you can't quite make out. Looks like a B-E-B-A, and it's tied to the end of this staff. And around his neck is a metallic necklace that has two oblong medallions with writing on it. And you all dash into the woods after him. And he leads you back to the fork in the road and then deeper into the woods. As you, Sheriff Rex, are beginning to float, and you are under the water, but you feel the current come around that bend that you saw previously, and you pop up out of the water just in time to see the T-Rex chase your friends into the woods. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
It was good knowing you, Rex.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, and when I come back riding a herd of dinosaurs to save you.
Oh man, that was, I thought that was going to end about half an hour ago, but you all just kept trying to kill the dinosaur, and that is amazing. And this is the beautiful fun of RPGs, because you never know where anything's are going to go. I was real concerned that Ulrich was going to shoot my friendly caveman there.
Almost.
But I had to throw him out there, and we had to see what happened. We will pick back up in 2 weeks. Make sure that you tune in next week to Wizard Rex's channel. If you enjoy Call of Cthulhu, that is where you can see his continuation, and I think is Dante still in chat, Diana, and a couple other wonderful people. But I will let him tell you all about that when we get back around to him. But we're going to go in reverse order, starting with Ulrich. Who are you? Where can folks find you? You got anything fun, interesting going on?
I'm Lord Fancy on all the socials, _ and with an IE. And I've taken a break from streaming for a little bit. We were doing our campaigns, but a lot's going on these days. So I'm focusing more on the art stuff. So if you want to keep up on that, head on over to the Patreon or the Instagram. You can find both on my page. Just click Lord Fancy in chat. I just commented. And yeah. Or the shout out. Thank you, Brandon.
He made it work. I couldn't make it work.
Thank you, and thank you so much for joining us this evening and taking time out of your busy schedule. And next up, Miss Mags Monroe. Where can folks find you?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Floyd. I work over at Roll20, making awesome games, or rather, taking awesome games other people made and helping people play them. I shouldn't take credit for the making. That's just rude. I am also widely known across the globe as Justice and Diana's special friend, and I'm very happy to be here.
We heard a
And
few
we're-
different definitions of what that means tonight.
Also, go
It's
buy
all of
Bard
them.
and Barbarian merch. Yay!
Yeah.
We saw. I didn't notice till halfway through that both of you were wearing those. That's,
It's because they love us, Justice.
they do.
Sexy. Those shirts increase your sexiness by 20%.
They
Yeah,
literally
they're
do.
a plus 10 to sexy.
It's not a skill.
Does Roll20 have anything exciting going on? I know you all do lots of fun, cool stuff.
I mean, yeah, we're starting up our season of streaming over on Roll20, which is there's a lot of awesome new shows coming this season, so I recommend you go check out the Roll20 app Twitch channel. We just released, or rather announced, the official release of updated dynamic lighting 1.0, which has been long in the making, and there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up in the months ahead that I can't talk about.
Woo! Stay tuned. Miss Maybelle Monroe, who are you? Where can folks find you? What you got going on?
Hey, so I'm still Diana. I'm still one half of Bard and Barbarian. I am the Dice affiliate and product manager over at Die Hard Dice. You can find me all kinds of places. Yeah, still Diana. Tomorrow, Justice, Emily, Mason, and myself will be over on Q Times for the continuation of our World of Darkness New York series that we're doing with B. Dave Walters and Nora Ibrahim. We are doing Changeling this time. So, like, we just did Wraith, where we all were awful and hated each other. And now we're doing Changeling, where I feel like we're all just weird. We're just weird people.
I think we're just all gonna be assholes this time.
It's going to be a strange game. I'm not sure how the transition's
Yeah,
going to go.
it's a real odd change from Wraith, but that one starts up tomorrow. It's our debut episode, so that's going to be another 4-part series. Saturday, we have our Saturday morning cartoons. Justice and I come here. We do a one-on-one shot with my elf rogue Mangini, who's pretty terrible. And then this Saturday in the evening, I am running a charity one-shot for Mark from Ice Cream Dice. He put together this whole little crew he wanted to play with, so I wrote a special birthday-themed adventure for them. And we're going to be raising money for a couple good causes, one Canadian and one American. It's not Extra Life. I feel like it's probably St. Jude's or something along that line, but honestly, I cannot remember right now because it's been a day, guys. And yeah, just follow me on socials, D'Amico Diana. Sometimes I yell about accessibility. That's me.
Unrelated, there's a gif of Emily dancing on our
Nice.
Twitch channel now that you should go join our Twitch channel exclusively to see this because it's
You mean
a
Discord?
really good clip.
Is that the thing you mean?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Twitch channel, which we're on right
Oh.
now.
Yeah, follow that too, but in this instance, go to Discord. And last but not least, the indomitable Mason.
That's me. Hey everybody, my name is Mason Dula. You can find me at WizardX TV here on the Twitches. Also, on all the other social medias is WizardX or whatever, man. Just follow the Twitch and you'll be up to date. And I'm with all of these beautiful people all the time and all the places and things and in various outfits. So you take that how you will. Just make sure you follow. So we appreciate you guys. And we do D&D Call of Cthulhu. Like he said, we'll be this next Thursday coming back to Call of Cthulhu. Ours is like an 80s themed campaign. And it got to the segment, like there's a few episodes there's like, ooh, building, and now it's at the point where it's like, oh no. So that's the good part. Make sure you don't miss it.
And go back and catch up on past episodes so you know what the building was to get to the oh no.
Yes.
And I have been your keeper this evening and spinning a story for you and these fantastic folks here. I can't tell you how much it still surprises me that people A want to play games like this with me, and B fine folks like you want to watch us play these games. I have a blast. I don't leave the house much, so this is my human interaction outside of Diana and my dogs. So I appreciate this time more than you all know. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks, but keep up the Call of Cthulhu love by tuning into Wizard Rex next Thursday, and we will keep coming at you. Thank you guys so much. Check out bardandbarbarian.com for all your best merch, and follow us on our channel and Discord.
Real quick, I wanna thank Micah and
Someone else whose name is
Mythical
really
Rollers, and we picked up some new followers and some new subscriptions tonight. So I just want to thank you guys for
Yes.
joining us. Who is online for me to raid?
Mythical Rollers.
Pyre, geeks like us are playing Jackbox.
Oh no, we're gonna raid Pyre, because
Minecraft.
we all know there's some bullshit
I
happening
was
over on
fucking
his
playing
channel.
Minecraft last week. This guy thinks he can start fucking playing Minecraft. I'm going in there.
Let's go
Guys,
yell
get
at
in
him.
there.
Let's go yell.
Go fucking
right.
harass this guy.
Raid. Thank you
Raiding
guys
over
so
to
much.
Pyre. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.